Hey, listen. This is not your ordinary storytelling channel. This is Fearytale, where your soul craves the chills, and every story sends shivers down your spine. So, subscribe to the channel. Let's begin.
Hey, I've been going back and forth about whether to share this. I keep telling myself it's nothing, just my mind playing tricks on me, but it's been eating away at me. Maybe someone here can help me make sense of it, or at least convince me I'm not losing my mind. So, I grew up in a small Pennsylvania town, tight-knit community, the kind of place where you know everyone's business. My childhood was pretty normal, filled with neighborhood adventures and stupid dares with my little group of friends, Maddie, Sarah, Kyle, and Aaron. That's what this post is about. Aaron. Last weekend, I was back home for the holidays and decided to dig out some old photo albums. Nostalgia, you know? I flipped through pages of birthday parties, school plays, and summer barbecues. And every time there we were. Me, Maddie, Sarah, Kyle, and no Aaron. At first, I thought I was just missing her in the photos. Maybe she was camera shy or out sick for the events. But the more I looked, the more uneasy I felt. Aaron wasn't in any of them. "Mom," I said, holding up one of the albums, "where are the pictures with Aaron? She was always with us." Mom gave me this confused look. "Who's Aaron?" "What do you mean, who's Aaron?" I laughed nervously. "You know Aaron. She was practically our sister growing up." She stared at me for a moment, then shook her head. "Lauren, I don't remember Aaron. It was always just you four kids." I felt my stomach drop. No, that's not possible. She lived right down the street. She had that curled red hair and freckles. We used to ride our bikes to the park together every day. Mom just shrugged, muttering something about my vivid imagination. I tried not to let it bother me. Maybe Mom just forgot. She's getting older, after all. But later that night, I brought it up to Maddie when we met for drinks. "Do you remember Aaron?" I asked casually. Maddie tilted her head. "Aaron? You know, Aaron, red hair, always wore that purple jacket. She lived 2 houses down from me." She laughed, but there was this awkward edge to it. "Lauren, I don't know what you're talking about. There wasn't an Aaron." I froze. "You're joking, right? We hung out with her every day. She was the one who convinced us to sneak into the abandoned mill." Maddie frowned, setting her drink down. "Lauren, we never went to the mill. We talked about it, but we were too scared. Are you feeling okay?" I didn't push it. Maddie clearly thought I was nuts, and honestly, I was starting to think so too. But here's the thing. I know Aaron existed. I remember her smile, her laugh, the way she always chewed on her pencils in class. I remember the exact scar on her elbow from when she fell off her bike. So, I did the only thing I could think of. I searched my old yearbooks. I flipped through every page, scanning for her face. Nothing, not even a mention of her name. It was like she'd been erased. The next night I had a dream, or maybe it wasn't a dream, I don't know anymore. I was standing in the park we used to play at as kids. It was empty, quiet, except for this faint whispering. "Lauren!" I turned, and there she was. Aaron. She looked exactly the same as I remembered, right down to that purple jacket. But her eyes, they were wrong. Hollow. Almost like she was seeing through me. "Why did you forget me?" she whispered. Her voice sounded distant, like it was coming from the wind. "I didn't!" I shouted, tears streaming down my face. "I could never forget you!" She tilted her head, a sad smile creeping onto her face. "But they did. They all did." And then, just like that, she was gone. When I woke up, I felt like I couldn't breathe. The dream felt so real. The next day, I called Kyle. I didn't care if he thought I was crazy. I needed answers. "Kyle, do you remember Aaron? From when we were kids?" There was a long pause. Lauren, I don't think I've ever told anyone this, but yeah, I remember Erin. My heart racing. You do? Oh my God, Kyle, what happened to her? I don't know, he said quietly. One day, she was just gone. No one talked about her. It's like she never existed. I tried asking my parents about her, but they acted like I was making her up. After a while, I thought, maybe I had made her up. Do you think this is some kind of, I don't know, the Mandela effect thing? I asked. Maybe, he said, or maybe it's something worse. And now I'm here, writing this post because I don't know what else to do. Erin was real. I know she was. But if she was real, then where did she go? Why doesn't anyone else remember her? And most importantly, why do I have this horrible feeling that she's still out there? Watching, waiting. If anyone has experienced something similar, or if you've ever heard of someone just vanishing from people's memories, please let me know. I'm desperate for answers. My name is Mike. I work at a tech company in Chicago. Same routine every day. Wake up, grab coffee, hop on the train, and head to the office. Nothing unusual until last Monday. That was the day I started questioning everything. I got to the office around 8:30 a.m., like always. The morning air had that crisp bite of fall, and people were bustling about, phones in hand, coffee cups steaming. I walked in, swiped my badge at the turnstile, and greeted Michelle at the front desk. "Morning, Michelle," I said with a smile. She looked up, her usual cheery self, and said, "Morning, Mike. Big meeting today, right?" "Yup, can't wait," I replied, heading toward the elevators. When I got to the 12th floor, the smell of brewing coffee hit me. Our office coffee machine is practically a savior. My coworker Dave was already at his desk, furiously typing away. "Burning the midnight oil again, Dave?" I joked. "Someone's got to keep the lights on around here," he chuckled without looking up. I made my way to my desk, tossed my bag down, and booted up my computer. Everything was normal, or so I thought. About 10 minutes later, I hear the elevator ding. Nothing weird until I see my reflection on the monitor. My stomach dropped. The reflection wasn't matching my movements. It lingered for just a moment too long. I blinked hard, shook my head, and told myself I needed more coffee. That's when things got weird. I got up to refill my cup, and as I passed Dave's desk, he looked at me like I'd grown a second head. "Weren't you just here?" he asked, frowning. "What are you talking about? I've been at my desk," I said, confused. Dave just stared, his face pale. "You walked by a few minutes ago, same exact thing, same coffee cup, same everything." "Funny," I muttered, trying to laugh it off, but the knot in my stomach tightened. I walked back toward the elevators. The doors opened, and there I was, standing in the elevator, grinning like a goddamn maniac. My blood turned to ice. "Hey, Mike," my voice said. My voice. "What the hell?" I stumbled back, my coffee spilling all over the floor. The other me just smiled, calm as anything. "Don't worry, you'll figure it out soon enough." The doors closed, and he was gone. I ran back to my desk, heart pounding. Dave looked up, concern plastered on his face. "Mike, are you okay? You're as white as a sheet." I didn't respond. I couldn't. My mind was racing. But here's the part that's been keeping me up at night. About 15 minutes later, Michelle came up to the 12th floor, visibly upset. "Mike, what's going on?" she asked. "What do you mean?" Her voice trembled. "You came in 10 minutes ago and asked for me to hold your meeting notes, then you left. But I saw you walk in earlier this morning too. I don't understand." I didn't answer. What could I say? That I was being duplicated somehow? It's been a week now. I haven't seen my double again, but I feel like I'm being watched. My reflection in the mirror feels just a fraction off, like it's waiting for something. Reddit, I'm not crazy. At least, I don't think I am. But what if there's more to our world than we realize? What if time doesn't work the way we think it does? And what if my double is still out there, waiting to take my place? I don't know how much longer I can keep this to myself. If anything else happens, I'll update you guys, but for now, I'm just trying to hold it together. Stay safe, everyone, and if you ever see yourself, run. Laie, that's my name. I don't even know how to start this because I'm still shaking. It's been 3 days since it happened, and every time I close my eyes, I see it all over again. I need someone, anyone, to tell me I'm not losing my mind. Okay, so here's the deal. I live in a small town in Oregon. You know the type. Quiet. Nothing crazy ever happens. Everyone knows everyone and life just kind of flows. There's this street near my apartment, Maple Lane. It's not exactly scenic, just a normal suburban street with a few houses, a park, and a dead-end cul-de-sac. Last Friday, I was walking home from my friend Jenna's place. It was late, around 11:30 p.m., but I've always felt safe in my neighborhood. The air was crisp, the moon was out, and the only sound was the crunch of leaves under my boots. I'd taken Maple Lane 1,000 times before, but that night was different. As I turned onto Maple Lane, something felt off. The air got heavier, like I was walking through water. The streetlights flickered, casting weird shadows on the pavement. I shrugged it off, maybe an electrical glitch or something. I mean, it's an old street. I walked a few more steps when I noticed something strange. The houses, they didn't look right. The Johnson's house, second on the left, it's supposed to have blue shutters. But that night, no shutters at all, just blank, empty windows staring back at me. The mailbox was gone too. Maybe they're remodeling, I whispered to myself, trying to calm the growing knot in my stomach. I kept walking, and the street seemed to stretch. Like, no matter how far I went, the park wasn't getting closer. The houses were changing. The brick one with the cute little garden? Gone. Replaced by this decrepit, boarded-up structure that looked like it had been abandoned for years. What the hell is going on? I muttered, quickening my pace. And then, I saw them. At the far end of the street near the cul-de-sac was a group of people. At first I felt relieved. Finally, someone else was out here. But as I got closer, I realized they weren't normal. They were just standing there, completely still, their backs to me. There were 5 of them, all wearing the same tattered gray clothing. The air around them seemed to hum, like a low-frequency vibration. "Hey, excuse me," I called out, my voice cracking. "Do you know what's going on with this street?" No response. "Hello," I yelled, louder this time. One of them turned, slightly, just enough for me to catch a glimpse of their face. Oh my God, I swear to you, they didn't have eyes, just hollow, black sockets. Their skin was pale, almost translucent, and their mouths were stretched into these grotesque grins. My body froze. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. And then, as if they were one entity, they all turned to face me. Run. That's all I could think of. Run, Lila. I bolted back the way I came, my heart pounding in my chest. The streetlights flickered even more violently now, and I swear I could hear whispers, like they were right behind me. When I finally made it to the main road, everything snapped back to normal. The air felt lighter, the streetlights were steady, and Maple Lane was back to looking like its regular self. I turned around, expecting to see something. But the street was empty, quiet, like nothing had ever happened. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying it in my head, trying to convince myself it was just a bad dream. But here's the kicker. The next morning, I went to the park at the end of Maple Lane. You know what I saw? The cul-de-sac? It's gone. There's just a row of trees where it used to be. I asked Jenna about it, and she looked at me like I was crazy. "Lila, there's never been a cul-de-sac on Maple Lane," she said, laughing. I know what I saw. I don't know what happened that night or who, what. Those people were maybe it was a glitch in the Matrix. But I'm never walking down Maple Lane again. Never.